All right, dear friends, I just watched this speech, this breathy out of whatever this was. And Mrs. L and I were talking, and we both agree it was recorded. There's no way anybody's going to risk him all of a sudden zoning out. Or, I mean, at this point, it doesn't really matter. Did you also see in the background how trees don't, there's no movement? It's like the Kate Middleton pictures. There's no movement. Somebody mentioned he had a wedding ring on. I never noticed that before. I don't care about that. He is just gone. You notice the orange hue, the orange tint? Isn't it funny how they mocked Orange Man for all those years? And now he's more orange than you can imagine. He's got that kind of like that xanthodermic look, dare I say. Let's go through this. First and foremost, I got to say something because it would be I've got something to say about this. And I know they're trying to do a good job, but if ever there was this no duh, I'm trying to keep it clean, postprandial review, it's always Fox News who just says basically what they just said, and we know this. See, I don't need somebody to tell me that what he's saying is a lie. It's a lie. It's politics. It's BS. It's nonsense. It's a lot of, oh, all I did, and climate change, an existential threat, and your family, and crime. Write down a list. Crime, air, seagulls, peppermint. Just throw in, because he did this. He did this. This is his fourth, I think, Oval Office. It's a joke. You're being played for a fool. You're being played for an idiot. He, honest to God, thinks he's pulling this off, and they do. And it's like this is a pretend where we sit around, and then somebody said, and I'm sorry, I'm going to say this again. I will never, ever, 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 ever say that anybody on any show is. Some people may be, maybe they may say things that are kind of. Like I think Andy McCarthy is technically boring in delivery, but what he says, especially when it comes to legal matters, is just through the roof. It's incredible. But the most boring man of all is Harold Ford Jr. And I just, with all of the people out there, who is it at Fox who says this guy's good? This guy's really good. He is so dry. Now let's come down to this. This is called politics. In politics, you lie. You lie, you exaggerate, you prevaricate, you say you're going to do things. This is not the worst president. This is the worst administration, the worst puppeted time. And this valediction on his part didn't do anything for anybody. Nobody's buying this. Nobody is buying this. It doesn't matter. It's just pretend. So much of what politics is just pretend. You pretend to believe in what you're saying. You watch these stupid conventions with these stupid acts, and it's pretend. And we pretend, like, oh, that's interesting. Or that, well, let's go right now and let's go to March. What do you think? Well, the exit polling is just, and it's all this pretend we go through this. It comes down to simply this, and it's very simple. And imagine you have a person from another planet, and he says, please explain this. What did I watch? I'm saying, listen. We have in this country basically two parties. Two. Well, we've got some others. We have different versions. We have, libertarian, but it doesn't really matter. We have Democrats and we have Republicans. And that's the way that is. And Democrats can be good, used to be good, some were okay. And then we have Republicans that I wasn't too crazy of in my youth, but now I realize they're the only salvation that we have. At their worst, at least they're discussing what it is I want to talk about. I could walk into a CPAC convention and at least find somebody to talk to. I can't find anybody to talk to and they don't have a CPAC version of the Democrats. Let me say this again. I have nothing in common with them. Nothing. It's like, I don't know what the analogy would be, going to like a dating site and saying, oh my God, what is this? These are gargoyles. What is this? This is horrible. What is this? What's the matter with it? Is this a joke? That's a Democratic Party. I don't believe it. I'm trying to think of one thing. I don't like them. I don't like their people. I don't like their candidates. I don't like their positions. I don't like anything. I don't like anything about them. Nothing. And what's even worse is that they're syrupy, they're milquetoast, they're saccharine, they're anodyne, they're duplicitous, and they're un-American, and they live in some kind of a demented la-la land. And they used to be a little bit more, sometimes they would err on the side of compassion to the point where they were like, it was like, oh, come on, would you stop? What? Wait, would you please stop? Stop with this nonsense. Would you just, in the old days, we have to worry about the trees. Okay, with the trees and a bit, okay, fine. But it was like, it was infantile. It was syrupy. It was My Little Pony, and that's what. Today, the Democratic Party, I don't even know what they're talking about. They're just demented. And I swear to God, I'm going to say something. I think they want women's reproductive rights to kill. It seems like they're into this thing where they say they really want to. This is about killing. This is about killing. This is the thing which they never, ever, 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 ever talk. They never seem to talk about alternatives or adoption or anything. It's like they're into this mean-spirited craziness. And let me also say something. I am disgusted by whatever this group is called that destroyed huge portions of my national capital. Have you been to Union Station? Is a beautiful, beautiful train station. It really is. It's the only thing that's when you walk through the main corridor, when you walk out into you can see the Capitol straight ahead, and it's beautiful. And these people are burning flags and destroying you with spray. I'm disgusted by this. Is this the left? Those aren't Republicans, I don't think. And there's so much about I want to agree with you about the plight of the Palestinians, but you lost me in that. I can't be a part of this. Or I might have my own feelings as far as what needs to be done to stop this senseless slaughter of Palestinians. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be a part of you. No way. I'm done. You're on your own. You just lost me. I'm going to have to find some other kind of group or cause, but you're not winning me over. Every time you get together, whether it's Antifa, whether it's Black Lives Matter, whether it's this, you end up destroying property. I don't understand it. Can you explain that one to me too? Is it possible for anybody on what we call the left to not destroy property? They talk about the right, and they talk about January 6th. There was no property destroyed. There was nothing defaced. Did you see spray paint? Maybe I missed it. Did you see people desecrating the Capitol? I know there was when they shot their window with Ashley Babbitt. Do you see that? You see a group of people who revere the flag and revere the Capitol and revere it. It may be the site of what some people consider to be some kind of insurrection, which it wasn't. It was trespass. There's something wrong with these people. There's something wrong with these people. And you know, it's like when you're saying, it's like when you're in the South, portions of the South during Jim Crow days, they would say, you know, you really have some sick people here. Clans members, clans. By the way, who were they? Democrats. So this is what it was today. This is what it was. If you have any doubt in your mind, this is the leader of the Democratic Party. This man who lied about his health, lied about his cognition, lied about his sentience, lied about everything. Lied about everything. He has turned the reins over to an oaf, a maundering, glib, absolutely just a substandard, somebody there for reasons that I don't understand. An insult. And you want to be the leader of my republic, my country? No, no. If this is not clear, I would do everything. And by the way, let me just say something to you. Let me say something right now. I cannot tell you again. I have felt such an absolute feeling of compassion and sorrow and pity and concern for innocent Palestinians who have been slaughtered. You can call it whatever you want. War crimes, massacre, I don't care. But what I saw today made me think, because I tend to overthink, that this was done deliberately to destroy any chance that somebody might veer away from fully supporting Israel. If this is the group of people, if this is the way you protest, if this is the way the left speaks out about what they believe in, can you think of anything they've ever done? Why do they love destruction? When they decided to actually riot for George Floyd, now let me explain something to you about that. I could honestly say I thought the George Floyd, well, I can't believe we're talking about this again, but just so that you know, George Floyd was absolutely positively, he was under control. Anybody who said, hey, this is a good idea to put a leg on somebody's neck, no. Whether he died of fentanyl, whether he died of asthma, it was terrible optics. I get it. I understand it. Protest all you want, sue all you want, do whatever you want. Please explain to me destroying private property. Where did that one come into this? I feel strong about something. I feel strongly. I feel strongly about stopping geoengineering and completely saturating my environment with nanoparticulates. So I'm going to what? Spray paint and destroy a national treasure? Remember, they were going to try to tip over the Washington Monument. Remember this? What is this? This is the left. This is the left. And somebody's got to sit there and say, listen, America, I've got news for you. Let's just cut through the crap right here. You've got one of two choices. You can vote for Trump or you can vote for whatever dingbat they throw at you. And it's up to you. But if you can't see through this, you don't deserve to vote. You don't deserve to drive, have sharp objects, own a car. You shouldn't have children. If you don't understand this, you are seriously demented. Now, let me explain something to you, America. Donald Trump might not be a prize. You might not like him. I don't want to hear this anymore. We're not asking you to date him or marry him or live next to him. But if you have any doubt in your mind by looking at this maundering, wheezing, senescent dotard, this coot who still has not said, excuse me, it's not my age. It's the fact that up. Look at me. I can't even speak. I'm yelling now. It took me an hour to get ready to do it, and I'm on Adderall. I can't even speak. I'm walking around. They wanted to give me a walker. I swear to God, not Johnny Walker. They honestly wanted to give me a walker. Believe me, I know this. And they said, you can't have him with a walker. And they said, he's going to fall down. They said, it's not a good optic to have the president. Do you ever see the way he does these things where he pretends he's running? And you've got this Herod and Jill, this termagant. Where is she? She didn't even come off the plane with him. You know they didn't. You know that was recorded. I mean, come on. Why do they always have backgrounds that don't move? I don't understand. Was this in a? I don't understand it. Have you ever seen this atmosphere where it's not one breeze? I was watching those. Next time you watch it, just watch the leaves. They lie about everything. Now, I've got to tell you something. Mr. President and Republican Party, you better get off your arse and do something. And listen, while I appreciate these rallies are terrific. They don't mean diddly to the rest of the world because we're not there. We've seen 1 million of your rallies. Now, if you're going to do a rally, tell us something. Tell us something. Go down the list. Can you do that? Can you go down the list? Can you say Kamala supports decriminalizing illegal border crossings? Did you know that? She wants to decriminalize border crossings. How do you like that one? Does it sound good to you? Border crossing, it sounds so quaint, doesn't it? Oh, it's a border crossing. Oh, how nice. They're not breaking in. No, they're crossing the border. It's a border crossing. I provide this to you on my other channel, which I provide, Lionel Illegal. I have this particular piece for you to consider, and let me just throw this one at you. You know, it's one thing that the Republicans do, which I kind of like in a weird way. They're very creative when it comes to finding new ways to charge people. By the way, Lionel Legal piece. And by the way, just watch that one. Because I submit to you that I believe the case can be made, then the case of Kamala Harris and others, that they are systematically, deliberately, intentionally, willful, wanton, deliberate, intentional, a destruction, a dereliction, an abrogation of the law of responsibility. They're abnegating their official pledge, their oath of office. And what they want to do is, it's almost a sense of treason. And treason comes in two forms, as you know. It's the only crime that's mentioned specifically in the Constitution. There's two forms which are very interesting. I find interesting. There's of course the giving, the levying war, which I don't think would apply here, but giving aid and comfort to the enemy. And what Kamala Harris wants to do is they want to give aid and comfort to our enemies, namely the cartels. Kamala Harris said she wouldn't treat illegal aliens as criminals. Well, what do you call them? She said she would back taxpayer-funded health benefits for illegal aliens. Hey, Black America, poor America, Latino America, Asian Americans. Hey, Americans, do any of you folks have any problems with health care? Have you ever had your health care canceled? Have you ever had any problem with, do you try to figure out this joke of a thing called Obamacare? Obamacare, I don't even know what that is. It's like the worst HMO anybody's ever seen. What is this? It's a dog. Kamala compared ICE agents to the Klan. Kamala called for this is interesting, starting ICE all over from scratch. Kamala expressed support for sanctuary cities. That's one thing that even Eric Adams, the Jadrul mayor that we have, said, no, sanctuary cities, not good. And finally, Kamala argued for temporary closing the border. She argued temporarily closing the border. Oh, excuse me. She said that violated federal law. She's the border czar. She was called the border czar. She liked it. Axios called her that. And then Axios said, don't call her that. He said, you did it. She visited the border once in a politically safe retreat. She went to Fort Worth or something. She didn't even go there. This is the joke that we have, the colossal joke, and it's not funny. And you might not like Donald Trump. I dig. That's okay. Soul 76 Can says he had the olive eyes again tonight. Yeah, it's a very, there's something very wrong, as you know, as you can see. And there's no way around it. There's something very, very wrong with him. But these are the things which are really important. These are really critical. These are stories that are so absolutely critical. In April of 2021, the first month when she was in her job as a border czar, illegal crossings shot up 128%. About 179,000. This is the first month compared to the first month she took off, 78. 128%. It only got worse. To put this into context, illegal border crossings during Trump, 50,000 a month. Went to almost 200,000. And then the number of illegals released, we don't know where these people went. Now, you've got to sit there, Mr. President, and you've got to sit there and you're going to say, I hope, I would love to absolutely go in during a co-debate, lure her in, and just catch her. I want to talk to psychologists, psychiatrists, speech people, behaviorists, and I want people to tell me, what have we learned? What ticks her off? I want her to lose her cool. What is it? What is it? What does she do? Tell me. Does she have a thing about men? Does she have a thing where they say her father was a Marxist? I don't know about this stuff. What is it about her? If all of a sudden during the campaign, you know what I want to do? You point. Do you know what happens when you point to people? Something happens to people. People go berserk. I know it. I do it a lot. I know what I'm talking about. This. Let me ask you something. It's the worst thing. Don't point at me. Pointing is like, ooh. Do you or do you not have this item on sale? Yes or no? I mean, first question. Yes or no? Is Israel committing genocide in Palestine, in Gaza? Yes or no? Don't laugh your way out of it. It's not funny. Yes or no? Can you imagine this? No matter what the question is. The first question goes to President Trump. President Trump, it's in the highway safety. Yeah, it's interesting. You know, that reminds me, Dave. Yes or no? Is Israel committing genocide? Yes or no? What do you think she'd do? She would plot. Teresa, thank you. She wouldn't know what to do. Just let her know. You were the border czar. Oh, she hates that. Oh, God. Make sure you got a checklist. Write them on your hand. I don't care. Checklist. You were a border czar and you went there one time. I went to the border more and I'm not even I did it on my own. How dare you? What exactly do you think is your responsibility? Where do these people go? Who are they? Where are they from? Just hit her with that. And you're the border czar. She's the border czar. Stop saying that. Why? Why? Well, what did you call yourself? And I'm not even talking about the AI czar, which is so incredibly funny. It's not even funny. You've got to hold her and watch her just say, and then do this. Have this, Mr. President, during this first debate where she says something, say, what? Would you please do me a favor? Can I ask you a question? What the hell are you talking about? Seriously, between Joe Biden whispering and this gobbledygook, What is this, a code? Is this the way Democrats speak? Does this make sense? Is everybody who understands what she's saying? Because half the time, and most Americans say, what is she talking about? What are you, unburdened by the past? I'm still trying. Deepak Chopra can't figure this one out. What are you talking about? You sound like a fortune cookie. What is this? You're a joke. You're a complete and total joke. Whatever gave you the idea that you could be president? You can't even speak English coherently. Hell, Joe sounds like William F. Buckley compared to you. You're absolutely, positively insufferable. Christopher Shelton says Kamala will be the first president elected off of YouTube ads and no debates. Maybe not. Maybe not. There is no way. Remember one thing. Obama can't stand it. Obama didn't want her. The president's got to get tough and mean and nasty and speak the truth and say exactly what you want to say and say precisely exactly what you want to say. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Did somebody ever think this is cute? When you were growing up, did people say, very good? Soul 76 says, Tulsi dismantled her in the primaries. Oh, yes. They're going to use this again. In fact, bring it up. Bring it up even. This isn't tough. I'm not going to ask you Tulsi Gabbard questions. I'm asking you simple questions. To start off with, what the hell are you talking about? What did that mean? Would somebody please tell me what you're talking about? You're not going to go into that space thing. Even these poor kids didn't know what you were talking about. Seriously, do you think this is deep? Is that it? It would be the most brutal. Put it this way. I would want to be responsible for single-handedly stopping all debates from then on. Nobody will ever let me in a debate again. Nothing but straight for the heart. Straight for the heart. How many black men did you end up throwing in prison for smoking marijuana, which you did, which apparently your father wasn't too crazy about because you were making some Rastafarian jokes, because you just go with it because all you wanted to do was laugh. You think everything is one big joke, don't you? You think it's just great. You're going to laugh. You think it's just really funny, don't you? Have you ever sat down with Putin? Have you ever seen him? When he walks into a room and you're standing next to him and he looks at you, have you ever seen that? This ain't Willie Brown. This is serious. Pay attention. You're not going to wow him. You're not going to bat your eyes with him. You're not going to give him I feel sorry for the poor translator who says, I'm sorry, Miss Brown. But the past and we have no tense in Russia that indicates it. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Do you understand how this thing works? Have you ever talked to Victoria Nuland? You know who these people are? You know who these evil people are in the military-industrial complex? You have no idea, do you? Because they've been keeping you. You never even went. How your boss, the president had what? How many? Nine cabinet meetings? Was it 9? In 9 months. Stephen Lynch says, I may be late with this, but there are definitely well-crafted splices in the presidential address. Well, I'll tell you this much, my friend, and they're going to call you a conspiracy theorist. I saw this during that Kate Middleton thing. If that wasn't AI or so, I don't know what the hell that was. Remember that the flowers were painted. I'm thinking, why is she outside in front of a painted? They didn't move. I'm not exactly going through deep analysis here. I'm not going. They're not moving, and he's sitting there and they're doing this stuff. And also, you got to make sure that if you are going to splice or put things together. You can't have a lot of movement and reference point. The light's got to be the same. You can't add. If it's got to be perfect. Anybody who does any YouTube editing will show you. You got to make sure it's it's. Would that surprise you? Would it surprise you? When he called in the other day and come on. This isn't a conspiracy theory. We're not saying Joe conspired with anybody to create a false tape. We're saying it's not real. That's not a conspiracy theory. If you go someplace, somebody gives you a ring, you have it appraised, and they say, this is fake. You can say, oh, is that a conspiracy theory? No, this is fake. It's not a conspiracy theory. The word doesn't even apply. No, I'm not talking about who was involved in the confederation and the perpetuation of this lie. They're lying. Even the words are wrong. We use the wrong terms all the time. We use conspiracy theory whenever somebody's just not telling the truth. The word doesn't, you don't even know what it means. We have been so habituated to this. You know what's also funny? Nobody ever figures out what's going on. Never got any answers regarding COVID. Nothing. Never. They're laughing their butts off. Put on Fauci, points his finger, he leaves. Nothing happens. Bring in Zuckerberg, why you? Nothing. Bring in the guy from TikTok, why you? Gone. Nothing happens. Did you hear all these things about the Cheadle? You know what's going to happen with the Secret Service report? Nothing. You got a Ray from the FBI? Nothing. We've got Chuck Grassley says, well, we've got the video and nothing happens. I'm learning on them. We're trying to have we yet to figure out the motive? Not to go on a limb, but I think I know the killer's motive to kill the president. But what was his motive? What motivated him? A desire to kill him. You really want to do this? Okay, CNN. Let's say that was it. You want me to go? We play games. We play these games. And the worst thing in the world is the fact that they would dare put up this cachinnating rube who doesn't understand something. You're talking about China and tariffs, and this is, and you're going to put us through more of these moronic federal judges where they can't, honest to God, where they can't tell the difference between a man and a woman. Well, there is a transition. And yet these same people would get offended when people would make fun of Michelle Obama. And I found it offensive as well. But if there's no such thing as men and women, how can you be offended? It doesn't make any sense. The other day they had, Kamala was talking to these NCAA, these college athletes at the White House. Men and women. Kamala, you know why they're not playing on the same team? Well, for one thing, they're different. But number two, women would never make the team. Like John McEnroe said, Venus Williams or Serena, whoever the hell these people are, Serena would be 700th. So this is the nonsense we're going through. This is the nonsense. This is a woman who was going to talk about climate and is going to be still pushing this Greta. By the way, Greta Thunberg is over. What, Greta's about 40 right now, I think? How dare you? Anyway, Greta Thunberg pushing this anthropomorphic, these causation models, notwithstanding the Holocene maxima and the hypsithermals and everything else about this. We're still playing this joke. Ladies and gentlemen, it's ham, tram, Shazam. Thank you so much. Try that 3 times for us. So this is what it was. So what did Joe accomplish tonight? What was it? Tell me. Nothing. What did he say? Well, I'm not going to. But I'm going to. Why are you quitting? You said the other day you weren't going to quit. What happened? How come in one day you said, I'm not quitting? And then the next day, never mind. Joe, you're lying. You said you're a tough guy from Scranton. You said on Tuesday, I'm not going to leave. And on Wednesday, you said, you know what? Booga booga. Psych. I'm leaving. Okay. Come on. Stop it. And they're going to do everything in their power to keep Kamala out of they're going to give her these absolute simple, these easy questions. With Joe, they said, what's your favorite ice cream? Remember Joe when he was in Philly? He was at a Wawa. I think it was a Wawa, I think. Yeah. And he was with the mayor of Philly. It was the saddest thing. Nobody noticed that. Wicked Felina says a studio resembling the Oval Office was built across the street from the White House, so it was Biden-proof or safe, so he won't fall. 100% true. Check it out. Well, whether that's true or not. And also, during COVID and basement stuff and all that, the thing is that it's not live. Would you honestly expect them to put him on live? Are you kidding me? Here he is trying to do this valediction, and he's going to go on and screw that up. Stop it. So here's the bottom line. Ladies and gentlemen, first, Mr. President, you know what to do. Challenger. Tell them what you know they're going to do. You're going to see she's not going to be anywhere near this. She's going to have something. Oh, I'm sorry. We have the tulip, the East McKeesport tulip fair. I'm sorry, Mr. Daniel. She's going to skirt the issue. She's going to be more AWOL than he is. She's a lightweight. She can't handle it. There's a lot of people. Tulsi Gabbard can handle it. Hillary Clinton can handle it. I may not like Hillary Clinton. There's one thing about Hillary. She's not a lightweight. She's smart as a whip, and she's tough. This, I don't know what this is. Make sure you always include, gratuitously perhaps, Mr. President, a female reference. Always say somebody else. You want to get a black woman? Get Stacey Abrams. Call it for what there is. Call it. Listen, they don't want you to call this DEI. I don't understand this. Is this diverse? Is this equity? Is this inclusion? Yeah. So why don't we want to call it DEI? They tell you something, and then when you call it that, then they say, well, you're being racist. Wait a minute. You came up with DEI. I didn't. Yeah, but so now it's racist. Doesn't make any sense. You don't believe there's anything involving men or women. You have actual federal judges. Hell, Ketanji Brown Jackson, whatever, couldn't answer the question whether men are different than women. But then if I were to bring out, well, why are you distinguishing men and women? You don't know, because you don't know what you're doing. Daniel Lazarus, bless your heart. Thank you. He's got to call them up. And here's the best part. Black America, they think they've got you sold. They think they own the vote. They think they own the black vote. You've always been with them. They haven't done a damn thing for you. And what's interesting is where all the attention is going to are the illegals. And the reason why is simply this. They're going to put their money on the illegals. You're too much of a problem. You're not voting as much as you should. You don't show up when you're supposed to. You're not voting like they want you to. Hell, look at New York. New York, there's like nobody votes. Nobody. The only reason that Eric Adams or Bill de Blasio was like nobody votes. But those illegals vote. You've had it too easy. You didn't pay attention. Same thing with you, Latinos. Time's out. Look at you, suckers. Trying to send money back to bring your family members over. Saving and working and doing 2-3 jobs to bring your family over. These people walk right across. You're a sucker. Because they pledged fealty. You see, you've got to almost treat the American. You honestly are going to believe this. You've got this whole thing about Donald Trump. Okay, that's fine. I understand it. But look at this one. You want her in charge of the economy? You want her in charge of does she understand really what's going on regarding the Fed? Your kids may not be able to buy a house, pay for their. And by the way, this notion, this idea of loan forgiveness is a joke. That's not. And she's not a commie or a Marxist. She's for a welfare society, welfare economy, giveaway programs. That's what this is about. I don't know what happened to the Democratic Party. It used to make sense. Now it's like a virus came in and contaminated them. These people are loony. They're out of their minds. So if you think having kids, and by the way, hit this hard. Ask her, what do you think about puberty blockers? What do you think about taking a kid who may or may not be legit or may not have uttered an actual real thought as far as, you know what, I'm not sure about my gender. I don't know. I think, what was that? Oh, nothing. Oh, we'll fix that. What about mom and dad? Don't worry about mom and dad. They won't say anything. In fact, we just passed a brand new law that says they can't even object. We'll get you all the puberty blockers you want, up to and including surgery. What do you like about it? What do you think about that? And if Elon Musk is, and I think Elon Musk probably has some good doctors. Don't you think he's got access? Probably. He now is saying that this is. And by the way, Eli changes his mind. Elon changes his mind. I'm going to give you $48 million a month, and I'm going to just change my mind. Whatever it is. Anyway, let me ask you something. Kamala, what do you think about that? You think a kid who can't even decide what his favorite color is should decide whether he should have surgery against the wishes of his parents? Yes or no? No. Yes or no? And don't laugh. There's nothing funny about that. Because that's the kind of stuff you're going to get if you vote Democrat. And one more thing. If you vote for her, thank you, Sean Lucan. Thank you. If you vote for her, it doesn't matter. They're fungible. If it's not her, it'll be Hillary. It'll be something else. Any Democrat you meet, whether it's Pete Booty, giggity, or what, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. With this Corinne Jean-Pierre, they're given, this is the stack of stuff you're going to vote for. Here's your magic pen. Now you go and you do what we say. You got it? You don't need a representative because somebody somewhere, the shadow government, is deciding all this stuff for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, God bless America. God bless America. This is not over with. The next is going to be, watch what happens when she starts speaking in public. Watch what happens when she starts speaking in public. Do you understand what I'm saying? When we start seeing her now. Stephen Lynch says, by the by, still in California, not so easy to weigh anchor and sail. Indeed, sir. Now listen, we're not going to give up on this. We're not going to give up. We're going to keep fighting. So let's wait. Remember, in the morning, always check Real Clear Politics. Check out the Battleground Stakes. Look at the average, the poll numbers. All this stuff means nothing if she's not winning in the right states. Because Pennsylvania was absolutely Trump country. And don't give me this Fetterman business. Fetterman didn't help. This was Pennsylvania. Americans are smart. If you give them the worst possible candidates, they'll do the right thing. All right, my friends. Don't lose your faith. Stephen Lynch, thank you so much. Sean Lucan, Daniel Lazarus, Wicked Felina, thank you. Hamzam, Stephen Lynch, Soul 76 Cam, Christopher Sheldon, Teresa. By the way, welcome, Teresa. Thank you for this. So anyway, it was a groovy night. I love being with you. You have no idea. Absolutely love it. More than you can imagine. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Have a great and glorious night. Don't forget, follow Lynn's Warriors, and vote for current Democrat. In fact, it's the opposite. But I understand what you're saying. They're all the same. They are, as we say in the biz, fungible. All right, dear and great and glorious friends, have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for being a part of this. I mean that sincerely. We'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. And until then, remember, as we always end with this valediction. Remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. that, that.